Chapter 1. The Sacred Interruption. In the stillness between the seconds, where the divine often whispers and the soul strains to listen, a sacred moment is unfolding. You, the chosen one, did not stumble here by accident. Heaven has interrupted your timeline, not with chaos, but with clarity. This is not just another motivational echo or a fleeting digital sermon. This is a divine summons, carved out of eternity, wrapped in grace, and delivered to the doorpost of your spirit. You are not watching. You are being watched over. Across ancient scrolls and sacred traditions, there are moments when the veil thins and the eternal breaches the temporal. This is such a moment. In biblical tradition, we see the burning bush that spoke to Moses, the whisper that found Elijah in the cave, the voice that thundered from the heavens over Jesus' baptism. These were not convenient interruptions. They were sacred invasions. So too is this instant where time bends to purpose and pain collides with calling. You are now standing at the intersection of survival and ascension. Everything you've overcome has not simply led you here. It has forged you. The battle was not to break you. It was to birth you. Psalm 37:23 reminds us, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord." That includes the missteps, the delays, the nights of weeping, the silent prayers, and yes, even the scrolling that brought you here. Nothing is wasted in the divine economy. This is what the mystics would call a kairos moment, a sacred now, pregnant with destiny. And like the prophets of old, you are being stirred not to perform, but to awaken. Awake, O sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. Ephesians 5:14. This is the hour of the soul's alarm clock, and heaven is ringing it loud. Yet hear this, not all awakenings begin in ecstasy. Some begin in emptiness, and it is often when we feel furthest from our spiritual center that we are being drawn closest to the fire. God does not always speak over the noise. He often waits in the stillness. And now, in this digital hush, you are being called not with condemnation, but with compassion, not to be exposed for shame, but for healing, not to be crushed, but to be awakened. In Psalm 107:20, the scripture says, "He sent his word and healed them, and delivered them from their destructions." This message, this very moment, is not merely about content, it is about contact. Heaven is brushing up against your reality. The divine is breaking protocol to get your attention. This is the sacred interruption, the moment God taps your shoulder through a screen and says, "I see you. I've heard your cries. I am not done with you." And so, chosen one, before we go further into the depths, before we speak of spiritual elevation and the weight of divine assignment, linger here. Let this first moment pierce through the walls you've built to survive. Let your heart crack open. Let your soul lean in. Because everything that follows begins here, in the interruption, in the awakening, in the whisper of God calling you by name. Chapter 2. Spiritual labor pains. What if the pressure you're feeling isn't punishment, but pregnancy? What if the tightness, the discontent, the holy restlessness within you is not failure, but the first contraction of something eternal trying to be born? For the chosen ones, discomfort is rarely random. It is revelation dressed in pain. Let us speak plainly. You are being spiritually stretched, and like a child in the womb, when growth meets confinement, labor begins. You are not who you were a year ago, perhaps not even who you were last week. The old version of you, the doubter, the people pleaser, the fear-burdened soul is being dissolved, and the true you, the anointed one, the unshakable, the flame bearer, is beginning to crown. Scripture often disguises transformation in metaphor. When I was a child, I thought like a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. 1 Corinthians 13:11. Growth demands separation. You are being pulled away from the shallow, the surface, the safe, not because you failed, but because you passed. You have outgrown your previous assignment. But here, this spiritual labor isn't just about birthing something new. It's about burying what no longer belongs. Some mindsets must die. Some relationships must be released. Some environments can no longer support your elevation. Like an eagle shedding feathers before it soars higher, you must release to rise. Do not mistake this shedding for loss. It is preparation. Just as a seed must crack open to release the tree within, so must your soul rupture from the shell of old identities. And yes, it hurts, but heaven never wastes pain. Every pang has purpose. Every pressure is prophecy. Think of the prophets. Think of Mary. The angel did not ask if she was ready to become the mother of the Messiah. He declared, "You are highly favored. You will conceive." Luke 1:28-31. And she, though trembling, said, "Let it be unto me." This is the spiritual posture required now, not control, but consent. Consent to the stretching. Consent to the isolation. Consent to the mystery. Consent to the divine disturbance that makes no sense to the logical mind, but perfect sense to the eternal spirit. Many of you are in transition, but spiritual transitions rarely come with clear maps. Instead, they come with contractions, and contractions come in waves. One moment peace, the next chaos. One day clarity, the next confusion. But within each wave is wisdom. And through each wave, the Spirit whispers, "You're being born again into your real name, chosen one." Your spirit is in labor. Your destiny is pushing. The womb of your former life is no longer wide enough to carry what God has planted in you. The contractions may intensify. The nights may get darker. But remember this, the dawn always comes after the deepest pain. Don't flee the pressure. Feel it. Don't resist the tightening. Lean into it. Don't curse the pain. Prophesy through it. Because something holy is coming forth, and its name is you. Chapter 3. The call to come up higher. Elevation in the kingdom of heaven does not look like the rise of earthly thrones. It is not built on applause, achievements, or accumulation. No, chosen one, in God's economy. Elevation is not about climbing ladders, it's about descending into deeper surrender. The word higher has been misinterpreted by many. For some, it conjures images of stages, visibility, influence. But in the language of the Spirit, higher means holier. It means hungrier. It means humbler. The divine promotion does not lift you for display, but for divine deployment. It is less about position and more about posture. Before you ascend outward, God takes you inward. Before He trusts you with public miracles, He invites you into private pruning. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, says the Lord in Jeremiah 1:5. The elevation God offers isn't a performance, it's an unveiling, an uncovering of what He already planted in you before time began. To come up higher is to descend into obedience. It means walking into mystery when logic screams retreat. It means trusting without seeing, obeying without understanding, giving without receiving. It means embracing spiritual discipline when emotional motivation fades. You ask, why now? Because the lower level no longer fits. The old rhythms ring hollow. The comfort has turned to confinement. When God calls you higher, He often allows your present to become uncomfortable, not because He is cruel, but because He is calling you into capacity. Consider the eagle before it soars. It must molt. It loses feathers. Its beak reshapes. Its talons regrow. It enters a place of seeming weakness only to emerge with greater strength. You, chosen one, are in a molt, a divine renewal, a sacred reset. Do not fear this quiet place, this hidden space. It is not your burial. It is your birthing ground. To come up higher means new instructions. God is no longer speaking to who you were, but to who you are becoming. This means old habits must die. Old excuses must burn. Old distractions must be cast off. You cannot carry yesterday's identity into tomorrow's assignment. The divine call is not soft. It is seismic. It shakes everything not rooted in eternity. And yes, it will cost you. It will cost comfort. It will cost popularity. It may even cost relationships. But what you gain is immeasurable. You gain clarity. You gain consecration. You gain communion with the divine. So when you hear that whisper, come up higher. Do not wait for confirmation from those who never heard your calling. Do not seek validation from those not assigned to your elevation. Heaven has called. Will you rise? Chapter 4. The requirements for elevation. Every divine ascent demands a shedding. To be called higher by God is to be summoned into a realm where the air is thinner, the pressure is greater, and the purity more exacting. Elevation is not free, it is forged. And those who rise must do so not with entitlement, but with endurance. Let us unveil the 3 requirements that every chosen one must confront before stepping into the higher dimensions of their destiny. Detachment from the familiar. God cannot elevate what is still entangled. The familiar, while comforting, is often the very thing that cages our calling. You cannot ascend while gripping old identities, stale routines, or unholy attachments. When Jesus called his disciples, they dropped their nets, not just tools of trade, but symbols of dependency. Letting go is not loss, it is preparation. Leaving is not rejection, it is redirection. Detachment is not about becoming cold, it's about becoming clear. God is weaning you from comfort so that he can awaken you to calling. 2. Discipline beyond emotion. Emotion may ignite your fire, but only discipline will sustain it. Many begin the journey to higher places, fueled by inspiration. But inspiration fades. The mature rise on the wings of consistency. To pray when you feel it is human. To pray when you don't is holy. To serve when seen is easy. To serve when hidden is divine. Spiritual discipline means obeying the voice of God over the noise of your feelings. It means showing up in the silence, trusting in the unseen, and staying faithful when results are invisible. For faith without a map. Every ascent into new territory requires a surrender of the blueprint. Abraham left without knowing his destination. Peter stepped onto water without knowing if it would hold. Mary believed in a promise that defied biology. Faith at this level is not belief in ideas. It is obedience to instructions. It is saying yes without knowing the cost. It is moving your feet even when the staircase is cloaked in cloud. Hebrews 11:1 tells us, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." You will not always have clarity, but you will always have command. Chosen one. The higher realm is not reached through striving, but through surrender. These requirements, detachment, discipline, and faith are the chisels of the Spirit, sculpting your soul for divine deployment. Will you endure the refinement? Will you lay down what was? Will you walk forward with no map? Just a word. Heaven awaits your yes. Chapter 5. The divine signs of spiritual elevation. God rarely announces transformation with trumpets. Instead, heaven whispers through disruption, through longing, through divine discomfort. The signs that you are being called higher are subtle yet seismic. They stir your spirit and shake your routines. And if you are sensitive enough, you will discern that God is not silent. He is strategic. Let us examine the sacred signs that precede spiritual elevation. These are not coincidences. They are divine cues. 1. A hunger for depth. Shallow no longer satisfies. You once found nourishment in simple sermons and surface-level encouragement. But now, your soul craves more. You are spiritually starving for truth that pierces, for revelation that transforms. This hunger is not a lack. It's an invitation. God is expanding your appetite because He's preparing you for greater nourishment. Hebrews 5:14 declares, "But solid food is for the mature." You are being transitioned from milk to meat. Tserun, a sense that time is running out. There's a holy urgency within you. Your days feel shorter, your moments more meaningful. You begin to reevaluate how you spend your time, your energy, your presence. This is not anxiety, it is divine acceleration. The Spirit is whispering, "Wake up, beloved. Eternity draws near." Romans 13:11 confirms it. The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber. 3. Divine disruptions. Your plans begin to collapse. Doors that seemed sure slammed shut. Opportunities vanish. Relationships dissolve. It may feel like failure, but it is formation. Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." When God interrupts, it's not punishment, it's preparation. The loss of interest in the superficial. Entertainment feels empty. Old conversations bore you. Hobbies that once thrilled now feel like noise. You are not broken. You are being recalibrated. God is refining your focus so that only the eternal holds your gaze. Colossians 3:2 urges, "Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things." Divine isolation. Suddenly, your circle shrinks. Invitations stop. Friendships fade. But this isn't rejection, it's refinement. God pulls you away from the crowd so He can speak without interruption. Solitude becomes sacred, and in the silence, His whisper becomes unmistakable. Mark 1:35 shows us Jesus modeling this, withdrawing to solitary places to pray. These signs are not random. They are sacred indicators of divine elevation. And while others may misinterpret your shift as strange or unstable, know this: heaven is authoring your transition. Chosen one, do not despise the divine disruptions. Do not mourn the hunger, the isolation, the shift. These are holy. These are signs. You are being called higher, not louder, not faster, higher, where clarity reigns, where destiny unfolds, where God meets you face to face. Chapter 6. The cost of ignoring the call. What happens when the chosen one chooses silence? When the divine invitation is met not with a resounding yes, but with a hesitant shrug or a distracted scroll, make no mistake, spiritual elevation is optional. But the price of refusing the call is steep, and the consequences reach far beyond your own soul. God's voice is never wasted, but it can be ignored. And when we ignore the sacred whisper to come up higher, we unknowingly trade purpose for passivity. Delayed destiny. There is a window for obedience, a sacred moment in which your yes carries generational weight. Delay is not neutral. It is disruptive. Each postponed step can alter the trajectory of divine timing. And while God redeems, He rarely repeats. The Israelites wandered for 40 years because they said not now when God said go forward. 2. Diminished influence. Your voice was designed to break chains, shift atmospheres, and awaken others. But silence, when you are called to speak, is disobedience. Playing small doesn't protect your destiny, it paralyzes it. Fear may feel safe, but it sterilizes your spiritual impact. Peter walked on water because he stepped out of the boat. Had he stayed, his legacy would have remained ordinary, on spiritual apathy. The longer you resist the divine stirring, the easier it becomes to ignore it altogether. The soul grows numb, the spirit drifts, and what once stirred passion now feels like noise. You become entertained by what once convicted you. Your discernment dulls, your hunger fades. This is how spiritual death begins, not with rebellion, but with resignation or missed assignments. You were sent here with divine work to complete. Souls are attached to your obedience. Miracles are tethered to your yes. When you say no to God, someone else waits longer for their breakthrough. Heaven's strategy includes your willingness. Esther was told, "If you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise from another place, but you and your family will perish." Esther 4:14. The work will get done, but will it be through you or in spite of you? Inner restlessness. To ignore your calling is to live in spiritual misalignment. No amount of success can silence that sacred ache. You can change careers, cities, partners. But if you are running from God's call, your spirit will never settle. Jonah found a boat, paid the fare, and fled. But storms still found him. Why? Because purpose chases the called. Chosen one. The cost of staying low is not safety. It is stagnation. It is missed miracles, delayed destinies, silenced authority. The divine call does not always repeat, but its absence will haunt you. You are not just needed. You are assigned. And when you rise, so do others. Will you say yes before it costs too much? Chapter 7, the reason you survived. You are not alive by coincidence. You are not reading these words by accident. You are here on this side of the storm, this side of the silence, this side of the battle because purpose preserved you. Chosen one. If hell had its way, you would not be breathing, but heaven overruled. There is a reason the bullets missed. There is a reason the heartbreak didn't hollow you out. There is a reason the depression didn't drown you. There is a reason the silence didn't smother your faith. And that reason is purpose. Spiritual survival is never meaningless. Every tear, every unanswered prayer, every dark night of the soul, none of it was wasted. It was forging something within you that could not be bought, taught, or imitated. The Apostle Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 4:8-9, "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair." Why? Because pressure is the womb of power, and you were preserved for more than survival. You were preserved for significance. There is something on your life that hell fears. That's why the warfare was relentless. That's why the attacks were strategic. The enemy saw what was on you long before you believed it yourself. And if he couldn't kill your body, he tried to assassinate your belief, but you survived. And now, your survival demands stewardship. You did not endure just to exist. You endured to execute, to build, to teach, to lead, to heal. This is the hour when what was meant to break you becomes the platform God uses to elevate you. The same pain that tried to mute you will now amplify your voice. Let us be clear. Survival is not a trophy. It is a responsibility. You have been entrusted with experience, wisdom, resilience, and these must be poured out. Others are still in the storm you escaped. Your scars are not shame, they are signals, beacons, proof that deliverance is possible. God never wastes survival, and neither should you. So now, rise not just with gratitude, but with holy intention. The world needs the version of you that knows what it costs to keep believing. The kingdom needs the warrior in you who has fought in the dark and kept the faith. You survived because you're chosen, and you're chosen because you're needed. Don't just survive, lead. Don't just remember the battle, reveal the victory. In Chapter 8, Activation and Assignment. To be chosen is not a status. It is a summons. Chosen one. Your spirit is not just awakening, it is being activated. The stir you feel is not emotional hype, it is heaven's commissioning. You are not being inspired, you are being assigned. Every divine call comes in two parts: identity and an assignment. Gikak, God reveals who you are, then sends you to reveal Him to others. On identity you are marked. You've always felt different, not better, but burdened. While others chased approval, you chased meaning. While others celebrated the surface, you wept over the spiritual. You've walked with questions no one else asked, carried fire that no one else understood. That fire is your fingerprint. That burden is your badge. When heaven marks someone, it is not with fame, it is with fire. Jeremiah declared, "His word is in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones." Jeremiah 29. The chosen cannot rest while the world bleeds. The chosen cannot sit in silence while lies rule. The chosen burn with truth. With big assignment you are sent. You were not awakened to be an observer. You are a vessel of divine change. You are sent to shift atmospheres, break chains, confront lies, release light, and you don't need a pulpit to do it. Your life is the sermon. Your obedience is the oil. This is not about being loud, it's about being lethal in the spirit. Your authority isn't in volume, it's in alignment. Demons don't tremble at noise. They tremble at holiness. You were designed to carry healing into broken places, speak life into dead things, intercede until strongholds collapse, build what the world said was impossible. The world doesn't need another influencer. It needs intercessors. It needs holy disruptors. It needs the chosen to rise. So here is the charge. Pray like fire. Love like thunder. Move like you're on assignment, because you are. Chosen one. Your life is no longer your own. You are a sent one. You are a voice in the wilderness. You are a builder of altars and breaker of curses. Heaven has activated you. Now walk in the assignment. Don't hesitate. Don't dilute. Don't delay. This generation doesn't just need encouragement. It needs encounter. And the encounter begins with you. Chapter 9. Rise and transform. Chosen one. You have been hidden long enough. Heaven is declaring, now is the time to rise. Not in arrogance, not in haste, but in holy confidence born from fire-tested faith. The trials did not destroy you. They refined you. The silence did not mute you. It matured you. The crushing did not cancel you. It crowned you. Now the oil flows. Now the mantle rests. Now the time has come. But rising is not simply standing. It is transforming. You are not being lifted to repeat old patterns. You are being raised to release new realities. You are called to step beyond surviving and into building, leading, releasing. This is the hour of transformation. The caterpillar doesn't just stretch, it becomes, and so must you. 1. From hiddenness to visibility. For years, you felt unseen, overlooked, misunderstood. But the season of obscurity was not punishment. It was protection. God was guarding the seed until it was ready to sprout. Luke 8:17 reminds us, "For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest." You are not rising to be seen. You are rising because you have something to show. 2. From pain to purpose. Your scars are not shame. They are signatures, evidence that God heals. What tried to destroy you will now define your message. Transformation demands that we no longer curse the fire, but carry its warmth. From survival to stewardship. You didn't endure to escape. You endured to embody. Now, God says, what I taught you in the dark, speak in the light. Matthew 10:27. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the daylight. What is whispered in your ear, Proclaim from the roofs. Transformation isn't about changing your appearance. It's about becoming your anointing. Let your mind rise. Let your habits rise. Let your expectations rise. Let your vision rise. This is not improvement. This is transfiguration. You are becoming what the wilderness tried to kill. You are embodying what the enemy tried to bury. This is resurrection. This is revelation. This is your rising. Chosen one. Transform, not for applause, not for revenge, but for alignment. You carry light. You carry glory. You carry God. Now, rise. Chapter 10. The final summons. This is not the end. It is the edge. Chosen one. You have stood at the threshold long enough. Heaven's voice no longer whispers. It thunders. The knock at the door has become a roar. Revelation 3:20 echoes through the Spirit. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. The question is no longer, will you hear? The question is, will you answer? You have been awakened, refined, instructed, activated. Now you must respond. There is no more time for hesitation. No more space for spiritual delay. Your yes is not just personal, it is prophetic. It will shake realms, shatter limitations, and summon heaven's agenda into the earth. This is your summons to arise and take your place, not in comfort, not in confusion, but in clarity, courage, and consecration. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too ordinary. You are chosen, and chosen ones do not just exist. They ignite. They build altars. They break curses. They carry glory. They walk through fire and come out with prophecy on their tongues. To the forgotten, God says, I see you. To the silenced, God says, I will use your voice. To the delayed, God says, this is your hour to rise. You are not waiting on a new word. Heaven is waiting on your new response. Lift your hands. Open your heart. Say yes. Let the wind blow. Let the fire fall. Let revival begin with you. This final summons is not for the faint of heart. It is for the yielded. It is for the ready. It is for the warrior who knows that the next step will cost everything, but that obedience is always worth the price. Chosen one, your destiny doesn't begin someday. It begins now.